Franke Previte talks about that learning experience of working with Rod Stewart on stage and Fleetwood Mac. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music. Before he co-wrote I've Had the Time of My Life and Hungry Eyes from Dirty Dancing, and even before he had a top 10 hit with Frankie and the Knockouts with the song Sweetheart, Franke Previte was in a band called Bull Angus. That was his really big hair days. I think we all had those. We talked to Franke Previte about the things he learned touring with Rod Stewart and when he worked with Fleetwood Mac and Dave Mason with their album Time from 1995.
What was your impression of Rod Stewart when you were touring with him?
Touring with Rod Stewart was like going to the School of Rock, you know, standing on the side of the stage, watching somebody at the top of his game ingratiate an audience just with his presence and the way he was able to do less than you think you have to do is really part of entertaining, is letting the song emotionally take you where you want to go and let that be entertaining that the song created inside of you. And so I learned a lot just by watching him. It was really an education.
I'm always surprised. Well, I guess I'm not surprised because I'm a big Sam Cooke fan, but when I first heard him, even when he was doing his rock stuff, like, you know, the You're in My Heart 75 hits, I remember going, I hear so much of Sam Cooke, and for good reasons, and it's a compliment to Rod, in his voice.
Yeah, well, so with Journey, so, you know, with Steve Perry, I hear Sam Cooke. Yeah. You know, some of those riffs are similar. Listen, we all, there's only a certain amount of notes, and we all borrow those same notes and make them our own by creating our own sound, and that creates our identity to those notes. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Rod Stewart and Steve Perry sat there and listened as they grew up and had their influences. For me, growing up, it was really like the Rascals and you know, Temptations and Four Tops and Sam and Dave and Otis Redding. You know, back in the day, those were my influences because I grew up in an Italian family and an opera singer. My father being an opera singer, there was a lot of Italian notes going on. So I was looking for the blue notes, you know.
When you toured with Fleetwood Mac, were Lindsay and Stevie in the band yet, or was it Bob Welsh?
I'm trying to remember because that's going back to like the early 70s when I was in.
That would be Bob Welsh.
I think we were doing gigs with them in 73, though. We were playing, you know, colleges, opening up for them and doing college gigs. But later on, years later, I got a call from this guy, Dave Mason. I don't know if you know who Dave Mason is.
Oh, yeah. Very familiar with Dave.
Yeah, Dave used to play in Traffic. And he and I became friends, and we, you know, were hanging out and writing a bunch of songs together. And he said, hey, the guys from Fleetwood Mac just called me, and they're going to do a record. And they asked me to join the band along with Becca Bramlett, who was Bonnie and Delaney's daughter. Mm-hmm. And so I flew out to California and lived with Dave for about a month and wrote a bunch of songs and went to all their rehearsals and rehearsed with, you know, with Dave and all the Fleetwood Mac guys. And they ended up cutting 4 of my songs for that record, but what happened was that they only put 1 song on the record, but they cut 4. So I had a chance to, you know, have a little bit of interaction, songwriting, and hanging out with the Fleetwood Mac guys, which was a really cool moment in my life.
It's an unfortunate thing that there's so much drama around the band, but I try to remind fans when I do my videos, I'm going, you know what? Not everyone is going to want to go on tour with their ex-wife, whether that's a male or female. You know what I mean? I remember the guy, Rick Emmett of Triumph. I said, hey, you're going to get back together with Triumph. Everyone wants you to get back together. He says, you going on any road trips with your ex-wife?
I totally get it. You know, you separated for a reason. So, you know, I guess you don't need to bring those memories on the road with you. And you know, sometimes people get along and they still remain best friends. So there's always that fork in the road that you got to take.
Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music.